Hey guys, Richard here with Downgrade Survival. So it's been a hot minute since I released a video. Been a little busy around the urban homestead, I guess we should call it. But anyway, thanks for joining me here. Let's talk about a few things because there's been a lot happening. And first and foremost, one of the things I want to say is, you know, every day you come out on YouTube, you watch these type of videos. Hopefully you kind of scan the news headlines like I do, kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And every day I continue to just get astounded by some of the things that I'm seeing and hearing, and I just keep shaking my head thinking, what next? And you know, I was thinking about it this morning about making this video and how I could describe our current conditions. And we've clearly reached a point where, you know, words just really can't describe it anymore. You know, for months we've been talking about how dire things are getting, how close you know, we are to World War III and the nuclear option over in Ukraine and in Europe, how dire things are in Europe with the heating oil and things that are going on, food shortages. And you know, we use some pretty big words to describe these things because we really want to emphasize the urgency of these things that are happening around us, but we keep saying these same words over and over again as something new comes down that just makes us stop and shake our head and say, you know, what's next? What is going to happen next? It's just going to just really disrupt things. And the things that are happening in our government, the things that are happening just in our society and all around us, just, yeah, there comes a point where you're just at a loss for words. And that's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of at a point where I'm just at a loss of words to be able to describe how I feel and kind of convey to you what I'm feeling and just really what is going on around us. You don't want to sugarcoat it. You don't want to just talk about something and kind of, you know, just peanut butter spread, you know, go across like it's not a big deal, whatever. You constantly look for words to describe to make people understand we're in a serious situation, and it continues to spiral. And we've been saying how it's spiraling out of control. We've been saying that for months and months and months. I just don't know what to tell you. So, a couple things I want to talk about. One is I'm going to link to a video down below that I'd like for you to go to check out. Not yet. Finish this video first, please. But I want you to go, if you don't follow Glenn Beck, which is fine. He's one of those personalities that some people like him, some people don't. That's fine. Look past that, but watch this video that he put out yesterday, because he really kind of describes, you know, the situation that we're in. The first part of the video talks about the riots that are happening around the world. Riots that you may have heard a little bit about. I mean, I was hearing just a little bit about it here a few weeks ago, but really not seeing much coverage on it because, of course, here in this country, they censor everything. But the fact is, there's some pretty serious riots going on around the world. We're talking huge. Let me back up. Not necessarily riots, protests. I should be saying protests, because they all, for the most part, seem to be peaceful, but they're huge protests about inflation, about current events, about what's going on and how people are starting to really suffer. So he really sheds the light on that. But more importantly, the second half of his video is where he really kind of just spills it and kind of reminds everybody the state that we're in. And it's just one of those moments where you're going to shake your head and say, wow, you know, because he kind of brings it all together. Kind of like I did a few months back. I released a video, kind of brought it all together. But, you know, some of the things he's saying is just incredible. So I encourage you to go check out his video. I'm going to put a link to it down below. What else? So here's another disturbing piece that came out just a couple of days ago. And that is, and you've probably heard a little bit about it by now, but Boston University playing around with the COVID virus in their lab and just, you know, seeing what they can come up with. And so they came up with a COVID variant that has an 80% kill rate. And two things about that are just disturbing. One, that someone would be playing around in a lab just to see what they can come up with in the name of science. I don't know. Why would someone develop something like that? At the university level, they have no business doing that. Number two, disturbing piece of information about that whole story is the NIH, the National Institute of Health, kind of like the overseers of this sort of thing, has no idea that Boston University was even playing around with this and doing such things. I would suspect that Boston University possibly, just speculation here, I haven't researched it, speculating to whether or not they even have a lab designed for that level of a contagion, that level of a big V. There's only, last I understood, there's only a few labs, period, that are built to a level of security that they can house and test and do anything with these extreme high dangerous Vs. So I question that, whether or not they should have even been messing with it to begin with. But ethics just tells me that that's something we shouldn't be playing around with, right? So that's a huge disturbing piece of information. Next, I broke down yesterday and I went back and watched one video from Canadian Prepper. And I told you on this channel before, I kind of stopped watching him, and I didn't discuss too much reason, why. Just personal preference, I kind of stepped away from Canadian Prepper, but mostly it's because everything he says is doom and gloom, and he tries to hype it, and he tries to find those words to really convey how bad things are, but it's a lot of clickbait type titles and things, and he likes to ramble a long time, a lot longer than I do. I know I ramble a little bit, but I just kind of steered away from him. But I did break down and watch one of his videos, and it was very interesting, and I'm glad I caught it, but because he was really talking about more things that are going on in Ukraine and kind of shed the light on the fact of how things are continue to build up, and we're not hearing about that here. It's not being discussed here. What's being discussed here are things like pronouns and getting your kids' gender identity taken care of, and that kind of nonsense. But what's going on over there is Russia has mobilized 300,000 troops. One thing, and Belarus has stepped up their game, and it looks like they are increasingly ready to engage and get involved in the conflict. But the takeaway from that conversation, and I also heard it from Glenn Beck and a few others, is that there are other countries now that are telling their citizens to get out of Ukraine. If they're in Ukraine, they said, you have no business being there, you need to get out and get out fast. And they're trying to evacuate their citizens because something is up. Everyone is expecting that something big is on the horizon, and it's about to pop there. Even China. China, who has a good relationship with Russia, is employing all their citizens, hey, get out now, get out while you can. So that tells us that, and we know Russia and China are on, first name basis, right? I mean, they just pick up the phone and chat with each other. So something is amiss. Something big is coming. And, the question is just, what is it going to be? Is it going to be conventional? Or are they finally going to take it to the next level? Hey, Leon Panetta, the former defense secretary, came out and was doing an interview, and I'm not sure what information he still has privy to, right? But he made a statement and said that, back in the beginning of the year, we were like 2-3, maybe less than 5%, less than 5% chance of things going nuclear over there. And now he came out and said that he's thinking we've got a 20-25% chance that things are going to go nuclear. So that just tells you someone who is fairly level-headed, but held the position that he held, coming out and making statements like that is pretty significant. That's, you're not going to hear any current administration officials, saying that our chances are that. So I'm not sure where he gets that information from. I would hope that he's still privy and still connected and still plugged into, classified information and not just willy-nilly putting that out there. And and I don't think you would, but nonetheless, that's significant. You know, think about that. We're now at a level of 25% chance of things going nuclear, and we've been hearing this for months now about how close we are. But now we're starting to kind of put numbers to it. It kind of sheds the light on it. We've got people all across Europe that are talking about it. People are stockpiling bunkers. People are building bunkers. They're getting things ready. Governments are telling their citizens to get ready. And then here in the United States, we're still talking about gender neutrality. And, we're still talking about all of our wokeness. And we're teaching our military folks to send them to training to be, more woke than we are to go train, fight, and be able to win wars. So, and nothing from the government about being nuclear ready or stockpiling or getting better prepared for what's coming. Yet you have CEOs of big businesses all over the country openly talking about it now, saying things are bad. Things are really bad, and things are going to continue to get significantly worse. You've got American farmers, jumping up and down saying, "You don't understand. We're not collecting the crops this year like we used to, and we can't plant next year without fertilizer," and all the things that they're saying. But our news media doesn't cover that, because our news media is controlled by the WEF, and they're controlled by the current administration, and so that information just doesn't come out. They want you to know that, oh, our economy is strong, let's go out and eat ice cream. Things couldn't be further from the truth. It's just the level of gaslighting that they do, and it's put us in a point where, one, people don't know what to believe, and but number two, they're going to be so unprepared for what's coming. And I've been saying it on this channel for months now. It's coming. Get prepared. Get ready. I'm not fear mongering. The information is out there. Just do a little digging, and you'll see it. Sad. It really is. Hey, the sun is in my eye. This video is getting long, and I've got places to be. So I will catch you in another video soon.